Good morning, students. Today I'll be taking lecture on subject digital signal processing. I am Professor Navneet Kaur, Assistant Professor in SIRT in EC department. In this subject, the topic which I'll be discussing is the characteristics of discrete time signals. Now first, to start with discrete time signal, it is important to understand what is signal. Signal is a quantity which conveys information. Signals are represented mathematically as functions which are dependent on one or more independent variables such as time, distance, position, pressure, and so on. Signals are of two types: continuous time signals and discrete time signals. Discrete time signals can be obtained in two ways. First, we can obtain discrete time signal by sampling a continuous time signal. Or in second method, the discrete time signal can be generated directly by some discrete time process. Now, we will study discrete time signals in detail. Discrete time signals are represented by a sample values of a typical signal, and it is represented by x square bracket and n, where n being an integer in the range. Xn is defined only for integer values of n, and it is not defined for non-integers value of n. So here we can see the representation of a discrete time signal where the signal is represented at x square bracket with an independent parameter small n, where small n is an integer and it has a value between minus infinity to plus infinity. Now, if we represent it as a sample signal, we can write it as x nt, where t is the sampling period. Now, since n is an integer, n can have values 0, 1, 2, minus 1, minus 2, so that we are taking the samples of a continuous signal. Now here 1 by t is the sampling frequency, where capital T is the sampling interval. Now here we can see one example in which the samples of a continuous time signal is taken and a discrete time signal is generated. In figure A, we can see a continuous time signal which is varying continuously with time parameter t. Now in figure B, we have taken samples of this continuous time signal, and here we can see the discrete samples of this signal, and this resultant signal is a discrete time signal. Now here we can see the more clear picture of a discrete time signal, which is xn. So in this signal, here along x-axis we have time parameter which is represented by small n. Now at n is equal to 0, we get the sample x0, n is equal to 1, we get the sample x1, then at n is equal to 2, x2, and so on. Similarly, on negative axis also, n is equal to minus 1 gives the sample x of minus 1. Then at n is equal to minus 2, x of minus 2 sample is obtained. And we will get many more samples on the negative axis also. So here the resultant signal is the discrete time signal, because here we get the value of the signal at discrete instance of time. Now, to talk about the signals, there are basically four types of signals. Now, first we have continuous time, continuous amplitude signal. That means here the signal can have infinite number of values along x-axis, which is t, and as well as along y-axis. Now, second one is continuous time, discrete amplitude. Continuous time means that we can have infinite values along x-axis, but along y-axis we have only fixed values. So here we can see either +1 or -1 value. Now the third type of signal is discrete time and continuous amplitude. Discrete time means that we will define the signal only along the discrete instance of time. But along the y-axis, the signal can have infinite number of values. Now the last one is discrete time and discrete amplitude. Discrete time means the signal is defined for discrete instance of time, whereas along y-axis also, it will be having only fixed values of the signal, either positive or negative, which is shown in this diagram. Now, the basic discrete time signals, which are also known as sequences, will be discussed here. The first sequence is unit sample sequence. Unit sample sequence is also known as impulse sequence, which is represented by delta n. Delta n will have value 0 when n is not equal to 0, and it will have value 1 when n is equal to 0. Here we can see in this diagram also. Now, any arbitrary signal can be represented as a weighted sequence of impulses. Now, here we can see we have a discrete time sequence in which the number of the samples are defined for different values of n. Now, the first sample here we can see a minus 3, which is given on n is equal to minus 3. Now, here we can represent this sample as a minus 3 and delta n plus 3. Delta n plus 3 means the delta impulse function is located at n is equal to minus 3. Similarly, the sample is also located on n is equal to 1, which is represented by amplitude a1. So here we will write a1 delta n minus 1. Similarly, for a2 delta n minus 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 n values will give you the 0 sample. So there is no need of writing these values. And we will get the sample at n is equal to 7. So we will write a7 delta n minus 7. So any arbitrary sequence xn can be defined as summation xk delta n minus k, where k is equal to minus infinity to plus infinity. Now, another basic sequence which is used for analysis is unit step sequence. Unit step sequence is represented by un. It is given by value 1 when n is greater than equal to 0, and it is represented by 0 when n is less than 0. Un is represented by summation k is equal to 0 to infinity delta n minus k. Now, another sequence is exponential sequence, which is represented by a alpha raised to power n, where a and alpha are real numbers. If a is positive and alpha is having value between 0 and 1, then in that case xn will be positive and the function will decrease with increasing n. Also, when alpha is between value minus 1 and 0, then in that case the sequence xn will alternate in sign but decrease in magnitude with increasing n. And if alpha will have magnitude greater than 1, then xn will grow in magnitude as n increases. Now we have sinusoidal sequence also, which is represented by a cos omega naught n plus phi for all n. So here we can see that we will get a discrete, we'll get the sample values at discrete instant of time, but the envelope of the signal is like a sinusoidal signal. Now, we have number of operations which act upon these discrete time signals. First operation is addition operation. Here we can see a adder block where xn and wn gets added to give yn. Similarly, we have multiplication operation where xn is multiplied by capital A and will give you yn. So yn is a into xn. Now also we have time shifting operation. In time shifting operation, any sequence is shifted by any sample values capital N, where n can be positive or negative, but n is always an integer. If capital N is greater than 0, then it is called a delay operation. So it is represented in a block as xn z inverse to yn. So yn is given by xn minus 1. Similarly, when capital N is less than 0, it is called an advance operation. So xn given to a system block which is represented by z, and it gives an output yn, where yn is given as xn plus 1. Now we have folding operation, which is also called time reversal, where yn is given as x of minus n. Now we have branching operation also, which is used to provide multiple copies of a sequence. Now we have conjugate symmetry sequence. which is given as xn is equal to x of minus n. If xn is real, then it is called an even sequence. We can see a waveform here, which is an example of an even sequence. This sequence is symmetric with respect to y is equal to 0. Here we can see the amplitude of the sample at n is equal to 1 is same as that the amplitude of the sample at n is equal to minus 1. Similarly, as at n is equal to 2, the amplitude is same as that of n is equal to minus 2, and so on. Now, conjugate antisymmetric sequence is represented by xn is equal to minus of x of minus n. Here it is called odd sequence. Odd sequence is antisymmetric with respect to y is equal to 0. Here we can see the amplitude of the sample at n is equal to 1 is of the same magnitude at n is equal to minus 1, but it is of opposite sign. Similarly, at n is equal to 2 and n is equal to minus 2, again the sample values are antisymmetric. Now, another type of sequence we have periodic sequences. Periodic sequences satisfy the relation xn is equal to xn plus k capital N, where capital N is a fundamental period of the signal and it is a positive integer, and k is also an integer. The smallest value of capital N which satisfies this relation is called the fundamental period. Here we can see the sequence in the diagram. This sequence repeats itself after every 8 samples. So here we can see from 0 to n, the sequence of samples is again repeated from 8 to 14. So this sequence is a periodic sequence. The sequence which does not satisfy the periodicity condition is called an aperiodic or non-periodic sequence. So here in general form, we have represented xn is equal to xn plus capital N for all n. Now, if we want to find out the condition for the periodicity, we have taken an example xn is equal to ej omega naught n. Ej omega naught n is a complex exponential which is considered to be a periodic signal. Now, if the sequence has to be periodic, then ej omega naught n should be equal to ej omega naught small n plus capital N. Now, here we have separated the exponentials. Now, for ej omega naught n to be equal to ej omega naught capital N into ej omega naught small n, we should have omega naught capital N should be equal to 2k pi. So, capital N is equal to 2k pi by omega naught. So 2 pi by omega naught must be a rational number because capital N here we will give the integer value. So here we can see omega naught is given as 2k pi by capital N. That means for periodicity, omega naught should be rational multiple of 2 pi. And if omega naught is a rational multiple of 2 pi, then a signal is a periodic, and the fundamental period of the signal is given by capital N is equal to 2k pi by omega naught. Now, another type of signals are energy and power signals. The energy of a sequence is given by the formula summation n is equal to minus infinity to plus infinity, absolute value xn and square of it. An infinite length sequence with finite sample values may or may not have finite energy. A finite length sequence with finite sample value is always having a finite energy. Similarly, the average power of a sequence is given as limit k tends to infinity 1 upon 2k plus 1 summation n is equal to minus k to k absolute value of xn and the square value of it. And we define the energy of a sequence also summation n is equal to minus k to k xn absolute value square. The average value of an infinite length sequence may be finite or infinite. Any signal which is having finite average power but infinite energy is called a power signal. The example of a power signal is generally a periodic sequence which has a finite average power but infinite energy. Similarly, energy signal is having finite energy but zero average power. The most commonly example of an energy signal are non-periodic sequences. Now this is all for today's lecture. Thank you.